Hi, everybody. Greetings. We got a presidential election year coming up next year. It's not really that spectacular of an event because we have elections all the time. In fact, our system is designed to have a continual election cycle. The idea was that we would be always, the elected officials would always be before the people. Article 2 of our Constitution deals with the election of a president. It's the president. It's the article that houses the executive branch. And when you get down to the third paragraph, you're starting to talk about the Electoral College. An Electoral College is really an elaborate system. Now, the Electoral College gives power to every state based on the number of elected senators and House members. So if you are a small state and you only have one House member, like say Wyoming, then you would have three because you have one House member, two senators, so you get three electors. The electors are chosen by the state. According to Article 2, Paragraph 2, the electors cannot be a House or Senator. It cannot be a governor. It can't be anyone that has an office of power or profit in the United States. So it has to be an average man. Now, when we're electing a president and you've got a team running around for one party or the other looking for votes, and you go to the polls and you vote for that candidate, you aren't really voting for that candidate. You're voting for that set of state's electors. And the way we do it is your state will send either a slate of Republican electors or Democrat electors. It does not require this, however, because a state can send electors in the manner it decides, according to Paragraph 2. So when it elects that slate of electors, those electors meet in their respective states at the same time, a time that Congress shall determine. And those electors will cast their ballots, one for president, one for vice president. One must not be a candidate from the state in which they reside. Once that election from the electors takes place, all that is transferred to the seat of government in Washington, D.C., and is opened by the President of the Senate. And the President of the Senate opens those votes and he announces them, and they are counted. And whoever has the most votes shall become president. Whoever has the next most votes shall become vice president. And if there is a tie, then it goes into the House of Representatives to decide who shall be president and who shall be vice president, voting by state, with each state having one vote. Now, there became a problem with this system in the early days of our republic during the third election, which elected John Adams as president and Thomas Jefferson as vice president. You see, the problem was Jefferson was a Republican and Adams was a Federalist. So you had divided government inside the executive branch. It's the only time we've had it that way because we passed a 12th Amendment that made it so what the Electoral College, when the electors are voting, one shall be stated which shall be president and which shall be vice president. So that's why we have running mates and two people running as a team, one for president and one for vice president. And that way, whoever wins the majority will become president and vice president, whoever wins that majority vote. A lot of people aren't happy with the Electoral College because they think it's unfair to their state, they think it's unfair to their party, and there have been moves to change the Electoral College or eliminate it. There have been constitutional amendments that have been sent up and failed. There is also a move to form a state compact with other states to get around the Electoral College and throw it to the popular vote. The problem is there's a restriction in the Constitution against any state forming a compact with any other state or any foreign power. So a state does not have the power to do that, so that would be unconstitutional. When electing these electors, it's supposed to be just common people. Nobody elected to office. But it doesn't say how that state can choose their electors. It leaves that up to their legislatures. So they don't have to have a slate that's either Democrat or Republican. It's up to them how they determine their electors. So they could determine them, or order them to vote by popular vote. Some states have laws that order their electors to vote for whoever won that state's popular vote. Sometimes we have electors that kind of go off the reservation. Even though the state went one way, maybe this state has 8 or 10 electors, and one of those electors will vote for someone else. And this has happened throughout the course of the Republic. But the Electoral College has served us well. It gives each state, a certain amount of power in who gets to be the president. Without it, you would simply have presidential candidates going to high areas of population. They would not be traveling around the states because the states there would be no reason to. They wouldn't have the power to do so. It's all part of states' rights, and the idea that states do have rights and that they, when the country was set up, the states did not want to give up power. They still wanted to have their power. They wanted to have their rights. And this is just one of those things where each state is worth so much. And there have been moves recently to get rid of things like even the Senate, because it's not by population. But that's the brilliance of the compromise, the grand compromise inside the hall that all these people were involved in. So we wound up with one branch that was for population, which is the House of Representatives, commonly called the People House. One house that's supposed to be for the states, called the Senate. And when the electors meet, they meet by the number of both, by the number of House seats and the number of Senate seats combined. And that's what that state gets. And so you have electors for that purpose to elect our president. Each state shall appoint in such manner as the legislature thereof may direct. Now that whole idea is it's up to the state legislature. And the state legislature, time and again, are given a tremendous amount of power. They can appoint, and again, going to the Constitution, a number of electors equal to the whole number of senators and representatives to which that state may be entitled in the Congress. But no senator or representative or person holding an office of trust or profit under the United States shall be appointed. So the whole idea is, the whole idea is that it would be common citizens casting votes as electors. And by the way, what I'm reading from is my book, Textualism and Originalism. 84 pages. If you want a copy, you should pick one up. It might seem dry discussing the Constitution, but here it's all written down. The Constitution's in red, and what it's actually explained, and it actually goes through and explains line by line, paragraph by paragraph, what our Constitution means. So with that, I hope you join me again for another Constitution talk, and I hope this helps you to better understand our electoral college. Good day.